Welcome back to Real Talk Fitness with AMPT. For those of you that are just jumping on to listen, I'm a busy mum of 2 boys and a business owner, and as well as a powerlifting athlete. And I also compete in high rocks events as well as CrossFit events. So I know what it's like to struggle. I know what it's like when your mindset just doesn't feel right. And I've also become a self-development coach, so understanding how our brain works and working with your weaknesses and strengths to your own advantage. Today's episode might feel a little confronting because we're talking about something that most people I see day to day do a lot. The all or nothing. And if you're sitting here thinking, I'm just wired this way, I just have high standards, or I just don't like doing things half-hearted, I want you to stay with me and listen throughout this episode. Because what if it's not just the standards? What if it's our fear? What if all or nothing isn't a strength, but it's a protection? A protection from you feeling average or feeling exposed, or a protection from feeling like you're not enough unless you're excelling at something. So often the all or nothing you see a lot in training, or you see it 1,000 times over with people with their food. So the all or nothing mindset isn't about our food, and it isn't about our training. It's not about whether you missed a week at the gym. It's about your identity. It's about who you think you are and who you think others think you are. And today we're pulling it all apart. So let's dive in. Part 1, the cycle, the all or nothing. So you wake up motivated, you set the plan, you prep your meals, you train hard, you're locked in, right? You feel very much in control. Then something small happens. You have a spontaneous lunch where you go out and you might overeat. And then you just throw in the towel. And then you eat another bad meal because what's the point? I've already screwed it up. Or you're tired and you cancel the gym. You get busy and you don't do meal prep, so what's the point? I'll start again next week. This reaction isn't about what's happening. It's about what it means to you. Because all or nothing thinking, there are only 2 identities. You're on track or you're off track. You're disciplined or you're being lazy. You're successful or you're failing. You don't give yourself a middle. And in real life, there is that middle. You cannot have success without failure. You can't be disciplined all the time. You can't be on track all the time. But what does the balance look like? So let's go into part 2. What's really underneath? All or nothing usually comes from a belief that we've created where I'm only safe when I'm doing well. Or when you were younger, maybe praise came from performance. Maybe you had approval from achievement. Maybe love felt stronger when you were succeeding. So now, as an adult, when you're doing well, you feel steady. When you slip, our nervous system has a flare. So you feel guilt, shame, panic, and an urgency to restart. So either you go harder or you completely shut down. If it's for a day or it's for a week or whatever that might be. This is a response from our nervous system. This is a program that you once learned that kept you safe, but it now just keeps you stuck in this all or nothing mentality, whether that's food or whether that's training or whether that's just your mindset in general in life. So there's a swing. You're all in, you burn out, you're all out. You have guilt, you reset, you repeat. So that swing is all in, you go too hard, can't maintain it, you burn out. Then you're all out. And then you have guilt that you're all out, so you try to reset and then repeat. Every time you restart, you think you just need more discipline. But to be honest, discipline is not the issue here. Emotional regulation is. Understanding where you created this programming and why does it need to look like an all or nothing? Why isn't the middle ground enough? Because the person that is most consistent, not the person that is most disciplined, is the person that's always going to move closer to success. So it isn't the person that never has a bad meal. It isn't the person that never misses a day at the gym. It's the person that consistently shows up even after one slip up. So part 3 is really quite interesting about our ego. So a lot of people with our programming, we create this ego, and our ego does not like to be diminished. It does not like to be attacked. So let me use this example of when you have an argument with somebody, you're generally arguing because it's either upset your ego or it doesn't sit with your values. Now, it doesn't mean that the other person's wrong. They've just attacked a part of you that's brought up some trauma. Now, if you got rid of your ego and that same statement or same situation happened, it wouldn't affect you because it wouldn't upset your ego. So our ego, yes, it is part of us, but it does no longer need to control our outcomes of life. And this goes to arguing, this goes to your views. There is no such thing as right or wrong. There just is. So this all or nothing is ego-driven 90% of the time. Your ego wants intensity. It wants a dramatic comeback. It wants a visible transformation. It wants to prove something. Now, if we go to the proving something and the all or nothing and the ego and link them all together, this has been learnt from childhood. This has been learnt to keep us safe, and it's part of your programming. But the really cool part of being an adult is if that programming doesn't suit you anymore, we can change it. You don't have to keep running the same program. Because if that program isn't working, change it. Our ego also doesn't want average. It doesn't just want consistent. Because consistent doesn't feel impressive. And impressive doesn't keep us feeling accepted. So as a human being, whether it's with our family, whether it's our friends, or whether it's our environment that we're in, we want to feel accepted. But the all or nothing isn't impressive, and it isn't the goal. Sustainable is. Real growth looks like, if we were to put it into food and training, is I overate last night, but I ate balanced in the morning, and that's okay. I missed 2 sessions, but I also trained today. I didn't hit my numbers perfectly, but I showed up the best that I could. That's maturity, that's stability, and that's where your power is. So let's talk about part 4, being the middle. So why don't you like to be in the middle? It's because the middle can feel uncomfortable. The middle says, I can be imperfect and still committed. They contradict each other in your mind, in your programming, right? I can wobble and still move forward. I don't need to restart, I need to continue. But if you're so used to extremes, the middle feels weak. Feels like you're not doing enough. When the reality of it, you are doing enough. But it cuts out the chaos. And whether your programming as a person has learnt to live in chaos, it's addictive. The intensity gives you dopamine, but your consistency builds your identity. And your identity changes quietly. You don't need approval from other people. You don't need to show up with how you think that you're going to be accepted. You need to accept you. And then that's how you can try and break the all or nothing cycle. Is that learn to love yourself. Learn to know who you truly are. Work with your strengths and your weaknesses. Don't try to change them. Be really honest with yourself. What does your ego say about you? What are you doing to try and seek approval from other people? Because you don't need to fit in with anybody. You need to fit in with yourself. Because if you constantly try to seek approval by doing things to become who you think other people think you are, you're not being true to who you are. And when you do this, we talk about part 5, the shift. The shift happens. You stop trying to be perfect or trying to be what others think that you are. You stop being affected, your ego stops being affected by other people's views, or you stop the guilt. You stop the fear that you'll never achieve it. And you start saying, how do I stay? How do I stay when I'm tired? How do I get back on track if I've slipped with one meal? How do I stay when I don't feel motivated? Because the person who wins long term isn't the most intense person. It's the most stable. The person that doesn't collapse when she wobbles. The person that doesn't need a dramatic restart. She doesn't need to prove that she's different. She just shows up quietly, steadily, and imperfectly. So I hope that's helped you understand this all or nothing and the cycles and where it begins. It didn't just begin when you started a fitness journey. The all or nothing mentality has come from programming that's kept us safe at a young age. It comes from the attack on your ego. It comes to how you identify yourself and who you are. So that's a wrap of today's episode of Real Talk Fitness with AMPT. If there's a few things that I'd like you to take away from today's episode is you don't need perfect weeks, you just need regulated ones. You don't need intensity, you just need to create your identity. So if you've slipped recently, if you feel like you're back at square one, you're not. You're just being invited to grow beyond extremes, and that's where your real power lives. So if this episode's resonated, share it with someone who lives in the extremes. And if you're ready to stop starting over and start staying steady, this is how you're going to do the work. Be honest with yourself and work out who you truly are and what success means for you, not what you think it means for other people to look within you. Okay, that can be confusing, is that you are who you think you are, not who others think you are. And until next time, guys, keep it real. I'll see you in the next episode.